moving ahead with the changing times. Today's topic, which the Commerce Department has aptly chosen, MOOCs and online teaching, is the requirement of the changing times. Pandemic has put us into a situation where we have to deal with, uh, this kind of situation where MOOCs and online teaching from a substantial, from just being an an ancillary or being uh, a part of teaching has become whole of teaching. So how to deal with it and how to cope with it, as my field is communication, and I always say that communication is uh, it is 80% non-verbal and 20% verbal. So from that we have come to a situation where we are going to use 20% of our communication to communicate our 100% content. These are the problems that we'll be facing. And plus, the class is, uh, we've always been saying that I'm not talking to the walls. And here in the online classes, we are literally talking to the walls. We're talking to a screen. So the presence of the student, that synergy that builds up in the class is missing. How to cope up with these kind of situations also. I'm sure that Dr. Ashwini Bhalla's expertise in this field is definitely going to help us understand and help us deal with this situation in a better way. With this, I once again extend a very, very warm and hearty welcome to Dr. Ashwini Bhalla, who is our very respected, esteemed resource person of the day. And I also congratulate the moderator and the head of the department, moderator Dr. Uh, Anju Bala, and head of the department and the coordinator of the program, Dr. Leena Kakkar, for taking this initiative. And all the best to each one of you. And a very, very, again, a very, very warm welcome to all the students and all the participants also who have joined us from across the country as well as from other parts of the world. So please go ahead, Dr. Anju, with your program, with your academic program. All the very best to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am, for providing this great platform to our department. Now I will introduce our speaker, Dr. Ashwini Bhalla. He is professor in PG Department of Commerce, SCD Government College, Ludhiana, and president of Punjab Commerce and Management Association. He has edited and authored several books and publications. He has been involved in the designing of course and outline of syllabus of commerce and management courses of Punjab University as a member of Postgraduate Board of Commerce and Management. He is also former secretary of the Faculty of Business and Management and Commerce of Punjab University, Chandigarh. He is also the program coordinator of the P-STEP program of the Government of Punjab and Punjab Infotech to develop soft skill among the students. He is also editor of PCMA Journal of Business, that is a fully refereed journal with ISSN number. He has been regularly involved in organizing various faculty development programs and experience of working as conference secretary of the 7 international conferences or several national conferences also. He is the knowledgeable person in the various aspects of financial services and operational research. In the present pandemic, online teaching and learning has opened new vistas for contemporary society. Students, students, please mute yourself, please. Students, please.
Madam, unmute yourself now. I have muted them.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Uh, in our present pandemic situation, online teaching and learning has opened new vistas for contemporary society. As we know, right now we had also seen the one of the biggest drawback of online teaching and as well as learning. But still, there are certain doubts about MOOCs are in their mind, as a learner. So to clear those doubts and to bring more awareness and exposure to the students, now I invite our speaker, Dr. Ashwini Bhalla, to share his knowledge and experience with us. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Please, sir.
Thank you,
Over to you,
Dr.
sir.
Anju. Thank you, Dr. Anju, for giving the nice
Hello.
Dr. Mrs. Ramnita Shardaji, Principal, Dev Samaj College for Women, Firozpur, a very prestigious and honored college in the field of arts and commerce in North India. So let me mute all and not allow the speech time. Okay. Am I audible to all of you? Okay.
Yes,
Uh,
sir. Yes, sir.
Dr. Ramnita Shardaji, Principal, Dev Samaj College for Women, Madam Leena Kakharji, Head of the Department of Commerce, Dr. Anju Bala, Moderator, and most respected Chairman of the College, Nirmal Singh Dhillonji, and Madam Madhu Prasharji, Secretary of the College. First of all, I congratulate to Dev Samaj College for Women for taking an initiative to discuss online teaching methodology and MOOCs. Madam Ramnita has expressed certain apprehensions that there are certain drawbacks of online teaching because as we are now on this platform, some voices of the students are coming in. This is because that still we are not fully trained to how to manage the online classes on this web portal. So slowly, when all these people will be trained, I think these kind of drawbacks can be handled very easily. Though there are issues are related basically with the management of the online programs. Issues are not related with the technology. Issues are not related with that we cannot have face-to-face and one-to-one talk with the students. The issues are basically that we are not fully trained. That's why there are certain issues regarding the management of the online program. That's why we are not able to create some kind of interest among the students. So today's talk will be focused on two issues. Number one, why there is a need that we should have online teaching program or some blended mode of teaching program, or we should have some kind of MOOCs, because presently we are in the new world order. This pandemic situation has taught us so many lessons, and I would like to say that this is a blessing in disguise also. Otherwise, we were sleeping in our institutions, were not modeling our institution as per the requirements of the new world order. The National Education Policy 2020, which is announced by the central government and which is now under the process of implementation, has expressed and accepted certain issues which needs to be dealt by our educational institution. Our world is moving in a new direction, so our educational world should also move into that direction. In future, we will be having big data system, we will be having machine learning system, and we will be having the implementation of the concept of artificial intelligence in all spheres of life. But similarly, the educational institution cannot be denied from such kind of benefits. The education policy of 2020 has accepted that in future, because of the rise of big data, because of the machine learning system, and because of the artificial intelligence, the unskilled workers will be replaced by the machines. Now, naturally, we have to produce some kind of skilled workers. We have to give the new direction to our young generation so that they can cope up with the requirements of the day. And these kind of skilled workers will be required in the data science, in the computer science, in the mathematics, equipped with the social sciences. So there will be a need of a multidisciplinary person and the person who is a multitasking in itself. So we have to develop a critical thinking with innovations and adopt and absorb new and changing world. So therefore, it is the requirement of the day that we must change our education system. We must establish new way of teaching, because the older methods of technology or older methods of teaching in which we were studying is now not going to be work in the future itself. Though because of the pandemic situation, we are adopting the online methodology of teaching, but in future, the students will demand that they should have the methodology of online teaching with the blended mode of offline teaching to continue. Because the problem which we are facing, that problem is because number one, our teaching fraternity, which is the core center of our educational institution and which is the center stage and will remain center stage, is not properly trained. They are not adopting the technology from the core of their hearts. That's why the problems are there. I hope with the new order and with the technology emergence and with the teaching of these kind of things, because of the COVID-19, our attitude towards the teaching will change and we will be having a new kind of methodology of teaching with the online and MOOCs. So today's discussion is properly designed to discuss the two issues. First, we'll be talking about the various issues which are related with the online teaching, and secondly, we'll be talking about the issues which are related with the methodology of online methodology of MOOCs, etc. So let me share with you my screen so that we can move towards that. So MOOCs and online teaching, these are the counterparts of each other. They are related to each other because before COVID-19, we were focusing that we were talking about that some MOOCs program has been issued by the Ministry of Government of Human Resource Development, Government of India, which is now designated as Ministry of Education. And there were various programs that people were preparing the programs for discussion on the MOOC so that we can get benefit out of it. So now we will be discussing in detail what is basically MOOCs and why this is necessary to introduce MOOCs as a part of the regular curriculum, and why after even COVID-19 we will be adopting the methodology of online teaching that will continue, because it is not there that this is going to be wound up even when the COVID-19 is going to be over. So first of all, let us discuss how our educational system has changed over the year. With the passage of time, what impacted our education system? And if you are not modeled according to the new world order, definitely you will be treated as the outdated system, and the students will be rushing from your institution to the other parts of the world. Let's see, before, if we consider 30 years or 50 years or 100 years back, our education system was paperless. That means we were using the leaves, we were using the stones to write down everything. Then emergence of paper was there. And after the emergence of paper, there was a system of telecommunication developed and telephone came in. Then TV media, television comes into picture, and after that internet comes into picture, and now we are all connected virtually. If you do not bring the technology as per the requirements of the time into our education system, we are not going to get success. So therefore, with the passage of time, as the technology change, as the system change, we must cope up with the system and adopt the technology accordingly. That is why it is the need of the hour that we must move towards the online teaching methodology and adopt MOOCs even in our regular stream of the education. So as far as our national ICT agenda is concerned, over the year, there are a number of changes regarding it. In terms of infrastructure, in terms of application and content, and in terms of people attitude. So let us talk about first infrastructure. So as far as the infrastructure is concerned, our mode of communication has changed. Earlier, we were using the simple letters to transmit knowledge from or talk to the one person to another person if you are not living at one place. Then methodology of telephone comes in. Now we don't post letters. We can talk and send messages online. So the post office system has gone and the new system of communication has been developed. Now we are having fiber optic cabling. We have gigabit ATM system. You have satellites now. We have transport and logistics system, which is more advanced than the earlier. Then why don't we bring in such kind of things in our application system. So with the passage of time, now we are becoming the knowledge-based economy. Our economy is not modeled on the traditional systems. We have smart schools now, we have e-government system now, we have smart card, we have telemedicine system. Our hospitals are going to be based on the telemedicine and some kind of that if the patient has to got checkup from the Bombay hospital, he is sitting in the Ludhiana or Firozpur, he can get it checked through the telemedicine system. So there are a number of other applications and content has been developed, and the work culture has been changed. IT skill has become more important. Knowledge workers we are producing, and we are now in a learning society where every moment you have to learn something. So this total structure has changed. Our infrastructure has changed. Our application and content is changing in every sphere of life. The people's attitude, culture, skills, knowledging system, learning society, and now we are becoming more united as when we were before. So all this demand that our educational institutions, which are still modeled on the older philosophy of walk and talk, chalk and talk, that methodology needs to be changed. I don't say that we should replace the chalk and talk and chalk and teach in the classes. We must use the traditional system also, where the one-to-one interaction and personal interaction is required. But we must supplement our content, we must supplement our delivery mechanism of teaching with the new technology, with the communication system which is advanced now. And unless and until we become smart by adopting the technology, both students and the teachers, and implementing that technology, bringing in the classroom, we cannot get success. So that's why there's a need that we should move towards the blended mode of teaching, either online or with the help of MOOCs, so that we can bring the education at the doorstep of the students. So our national ICT agenda demands that our educational system must change. Now our national education policy is talking about the colleges with the 3,000, less than 3,000 strength has to upgrade themselves and come at the forefront of the educational stream. Otherwise, they will have to be wound up. It means that we can create such a system of ICT in our educational institution so that we can increase in strength, not physically, maybe virtually also. Why not our educational institution? Why not? Why they are only admitting the students for the physical teaching? Why can't they admit the students for the virtual teaching also? If a person from the Bangalore want to study in the Dev Samaj College for Women, but he cannot come personally, why can't we have the alternative system of education in the Dev Samaj College, that we can cater the needs of them? It will bring you more economical, it will bring you more economic benefits to you as well as benefits to the society also. We must think on these lines. Our affiliation system, which is in the National Education Policy of 2020, our affiliation system is going to be changed. We will not be having affiliation system that we are affiliated with the university. We will be having autonomous colleges in the future. So according to, by utilizing that opportunity, why can't we develop our own MOOCs of our institution? Why can't we develop the online teaching methodology so that we can increase our strength? Whatever cost-based system we are now hampering and we are incurring, that is not feasible to run sometime the colleges. So it is very much feasible that if you use technology, if you use infrastructure, if you change the attitude of the people, work culture, you develop ICT skills, you develop knowledge workers, and you bring a learning society as atmosphere around you, and you stand united, so therefore you will be able to cope up the challenges of the new world order. Now, National ICT Education Vision, which our Honorable Prime Minister has thought about, that is in 2005 to 2010, we were in the information society. We were creating the information, we were having the information, but That information needs to be converted into knowledgeable products and services. And second phase, which was from the 2010 to 2020, is a knowledge society. But future is coming with us. We have to become a competitive knowledge society from the 2020 onwards. And that is possible only if our agenda, our vision of our educational institution change. Information society was ICT based economy, and the knowledge society is knowledge products and services. But the competitive society, which we are looking for the future, that will be having competitive knowledge economy, where everything will revolve around the knowledge. And how you can revive your economies of state or nation or at individual organization level, that will be based how competitive you are in developing the new kind of knowledge and new kind of concepts. So that's why there's a need that we must change our attitude. Agenda for our educational institution, that we have to prepare our students for lifelong learning. Mind you, the present system of education which we are providing to our students, that is not giving them any kind of bright future or giving a way to forward in the future. Because when they come out of their organizations or the educational institutions, they prepare in the educational institution, they learn something, but we have a rote learning system. When they come out of the organization, they don't know what paths to develop. So we have to prepare our students for lifelong learning. With the globalization at the world level, learning organizations are developing. Knowledge economy is getting more importance. There is a lot of impact on the ICT. There is a lot of impact on the knowledge worker, and there is a competition among them. That's why in India, after having the COVID-19 situation, most of our educational institutions were not able to open. But we look at the world level, though their educational institutions are not opened properly, but somehow they were able to deliver to their students and get their examination rightly with more authenticity. But in India, we are in the middle path. Most of the time after March to July, we were not able to cope up with the new situation because we were not trained to do so. So learning organization, knowledge economy, impact of the ICT society has given new concepts to bring in. That is satellite based education. We have to think about it. During the pandemic situation, this position may have been utilized. We must have the e-learning system. We must have the industrial training and side by side the classroom teaching. And in this way, we will be able to develop learning society, learning communities, learning families, and learning individual. We have to move from learning individual to learning families to learning communities, and then learning society. So we have to prepare our students for lifelong learning, not for just rote, become a rote learner, that they cram everything. After that, they memorize it and then vomit in the examination. And when they go out of that, they have nothing in their hands. So that is that we are not preparing our students for the life learning. The attitude needs to be changed. And I would like to say that teacher is going to be center stage, even in the online mode of teaching or methodology of MOOCs, which we are going to adopt. Now, what is the objective of total scenario? We have now built a background that there is a need that we must change our attitude. We must remodel our educational system, and thought of giving the new returns to the students. So we have to introduce MOOCs and online teaching system as a learning management system in our organization. If we are thinking that after the COVID-19, nothing is going to be done and we will come to the same mode as we were having in the earlier, you may do so. Nobody will stop you, but nobody will comes to you to get the education, because the kind of education which can be developed in the methodology of online teaching and MOOCs, that is more positive and more remarkable than the offline teaching. So unless we adopt the blended mode of the teaching, we attract the students with the new kind of methodology, we are not going to win the situation. In Punjab state, state government of Punjab has opened Jagat Guru Nanak Dev Punjab State Open University, which is going to give a new concept to the education. The kind of education we are getting in the educational institution will be getting at lesser cost and with improved technology and improved methodology. So that's why our educational institution, if they want to compete, because competitive knowledge economy is the requirement of the day, we must focus on that. So I hope the teachers, students, and the researcher who are listening to my views may have some kind of discussion after that, so that they can prepare themselves for such kind of things. Teachers must prepare for that, students must prepare for that, and the researchers must find out the new ways of doing all the things. So this presentation is designed on, first we were discussing need, then MOOC in the real sense, MOOC as a learning design framework, different kinds of MOOCs, how to prepare for MOOCs, then MOOCs process and approach, online teaching tools, and lastly we'll be discussing how to engage the students in the online teaching. So this is the basic objective. Let us discuss some of the quotations which are given by some of the very good people in the field of education. First thing is what intelligent people need, and that is going to change your attitude toward the education. When I ask this question, most of the educational experts or the head of the institutions of different kind of organizations, when I ask this question that what intelligent people need, the real and good people says they need experiential learning, not certificate and degrees. Let me tell you, there are number of great peoples in the industry who has not gone even to the school to get education. Even then they have built a big corporates which are giving employment to the lakhs of the people. So it is not the rote learning or the certificates and degrees which you are going to be benefit out of that. It is the experiential learning. So naturally, with the methodology of online teaching and MOOCs, we have to develop. Now we have to focus on skills, not rote learning. And we have to focus on experiments, not theories. If you are going to teach the theories but not going to teach the practical aspect of that through the experiments, the people will not become intelligent. We need experiential learning. That's why many MOOCs has been developed, where the objective is not to award any certificate or degree. Objective is to train the people, sharpen the skill of the people, give them exposure of the experiences, not theories only. So that's why the intelligent people need experience, they need skills, they need experiments. And with the present system of teaching, we cannot give this. Why I say experiential learning? Because your degree is just a piece of paper. Your education is seen in your behavior, and your behavior will change when you will be having an experience. That's why there is a need. We must have the experiential learning. Your degree is just a piece of paper. I have seen so many persons who are the gold medalist in their education. But when you interact with them, they say that we are not getting any kind of employment. It means they have just got a piece of paper. They have not changed their behavior towards the life. So that's why the lifelong teaching, lifelong learning methodology has to be developed in the students. Cathy Moore has given this statement that most important principle for designing lively e-learning is to see e-learning design not as an information design, but designing as an experience. If you are developing any kind of online teaching methodology and interacting with the students, that just, I have seen so many people who are delivering online, what they have done, they have focused their camera on the book, and after that, they are reading the concepts from that. This is not a way of giving the online teaching. You must be prepared for that. Some homework must have been done. You need so many things which are not very costly. If you change your behavior, if you have certain kind of learning experiences out of that, only then you can give experience to the others. Otherwise, delivering the information which is lying in the books of the various courses is not going to deliver. So the most important principle for designing e-learning is to see e-learning design not as an information design, but a designing of a experience. Eliot Messi has said that we need to bring learning to people instead of people to learning. Now we are bringing people to learning. That means we are expecting that students must come to our organization and then we should teach. And many of the people are saying that the older methodology, that when the students comes into the institution, is much better than this. But now the time has come, because the velocity with the information is changing, velocity with the technology is changing, velocity with complexities in the society are coming. You have to bring learning to the people. That means learning at the doorstep of the people. So only then you will be able to get some benefit out of that. So Nancy Kassebaum has said that there can be infinite uses of computer and new age technology, but if the teacher themselves are not able to bring it into the classroom and make it work, then it fails. There may be so many computers in the educational institution. I have seen very good labs has been established, but whether that kind of technology has been brought out in the classroom and make it convenient. Let me take you an example. In our educational institution also, even 7-8 years back, we developed so many technological things in our educational institution, but very few, crores of rupees have been spent, but very few teachers adopt this technology. They are not bringing that technology to the classroom, thanks to the COVID situation, that now they are bringing that technology to the classroom and reaching at the doorstep of the students. This must have been done even 10 years before. So April Chamberlain said that education is evolving due to the impact of the internet. We cannot teach our students in the same manner in which we were taught. We have to change our system of doing the thing so that we can have more impact on the education of our students. Now, what are the MOOCs? Massive online open courses. Till now, we have the problem that we have limited seats in our educational institutions. We have to enroll the students, and sometimes many of the educational institutions are complaining that we are not getting the students because the courses are not properly designed. Nobody come from the Maharashtra or other states to study in the Punjab. We are catered only to the needs of the local people. So when the local people attitude and preference change, they try to shift to the Canada or other countries. Our enrollments are lesser now. So the basic objective of massive online open courses is that you remove the boundaries in which you are working. Massive, because enrollments will be unlimited and can run into hundreds of the students. If Dev Samaj College of Dev Samaj College Firozpur develop a massive online open course with the help of the faculty, which is a requirement of the day and which is not available anywhere else, and that is going to sharpen the skill of any particular group of the students. That group may be scattering at various places. The people will be attracted towards that. It is not necessary that you must have the affiliation system for developing such kind of MOOCs. You can develop, basically the purpose is to sharpen the skill of the people. So if you are in a position to do so, the people from all corners of the world come to you if you run it online. So here the enrollments will become unlimited and can run into 100,000. This is open because anyone can enroll. There is no admission process. There is no minimum qualification. If Dev Samaj College Firozpur develop a course on the taxation, GST, and that is very attractive, you have hired certain experts, you involve your faculty, delivery mechanism is very good, then definitely any person who is desirous of doing this course and practicing in their business, even the very good business people who are running the industry, they will give you the students online because they are delivered through the internet. Madam has said that there are a number of bottlenecks, problems are there. Problems are there because we are not prepared for that. We expect that this mobile phone, which is in my hand, is going to deliver the online teaching. This is not going to deliver only. It can help you to attend only. If you want to develop a MOOC, you need the laptop, you need a small camera, you need a TV, you need some lighting system. Only then you can develop your MOOC. It is course because objective is to achieve a particular objective, particular specific subject you are going to teach, which is going to be help to the student for lifelong learning. So that is a MOOC. So it is not there only Ministry of Higher Education, Government of India has developed SWAYAM portal, only it is their domain to develop the MOOC. You can develop your MOOC for your institution. You can develop your MOOC as a part and addition to the classroom teaching. It is not there that the major drawback of present system of education is that you have delivered in the class, that is not recorded. If a student wish to listen it again, that is not available. But if you do it online teaching through methodology of this, you can record this lecture, you can put it on some social channel, that is created channel, YouTube itself, and send the links to the students. They may be able to run it very successfully. So this is the basic crux of MOOCs. Now, MOOCs are, it is not, I have already told you that the MOOCs are not only prepared for some kind of SWAYAM platform or any other corporate platform. There are a number of platforms which are now developed to deliver the various courses through the massive online open courses domain. But you can prepare MOOCs for your own institution. You can prepare MOOCs as an extension to the traditional education system. For example, there are 30 topics in syllabus of any subject. You can deliver 20 topics which needs practical orientation, which need hand-on-hand experience of the student and the teacher. But if you want to clear certain basic concepts which can be designed as a supplement to the traditional system in the form of videos, in the form of some recordings, in the form of some exercises which can be delivered online, you must develop that. You must supplement such kind of information. So MOOCs can be developed for an organization, for a platform whose objective is to run the various courses as SWAYAM in India is doing. You can prepare the MOOCs for your own institution. You can prepare a MOOC for extension of traditional education. So there are certain preliminaries which are required for developing a MOOC. It is not there you need a heavy technology, you need very good and very viable infrastructure. In the beginning, you can start with small objectives. So the most preliminary thing is that if you want to develop a MOOC, if Leena, who is the head of the Department of Commerce of Dev Samaj College, want to develop a MOOC, first she must participate in any kind of MOOC. There are a number of MOOCs which are available free. There's no cost of attending it. On SWAYAM portal, there are a number of MOOCs which are available. Similarly, at the world level, there are a number of organizations who has developed the MOOC of various courses. According to your choice, kindly attend it. Because it needs only few hours of your investment of your time each week. In fact, it would be even better to sign up for several MOOCs to see the variety of approaches. When you will see the various approaches, involve yourself into it, because you have to spend few hours of time of a particular week. Similarly, then read about the experiences and approaches of other faculty who have taught in the MOOCs. Contact to the person who has taught in the MOOCs, who has developed certain MOOCs. So the time, effort, and reward of teaching a MOOC you will be able to find out. Now, select a topic. If I want to develop a MOOC, select a topic you are passionate about. If you have to start as a beginner, you must select a topic in whom you are very passionate about, and that one will be appealing to the students also. Try to determine whether there is a demand for the topic and whether other MOOCs or resources exist on the topic. If other MOOCs or resources are not available and you find a unique opportunity that that subject in which you are passionate about and you can appeal to your student, go ahead for that. You must develop the target audience and design the course to meet the needs of that audience. Content to language you have to develop, and teaching strategies for assessment you have to develop. These are the preliminary things which you must start with. If you are in a position to be passionate about a very good subject, you have a demand for that subject, your students are ready to accept it, you have determined the target audience, you have designed the course, and language of the course has been decided, then you have to develop the various strategies for the assessment of the students, but you have to make it more interesting and more acceptable to the clients or the audience. So you have to build a team. It is not the single person task to develop a computer. You have to develop a team in your organization. Build a team approach for the design, development, and delivery. And then you define and plan the development process, creating a timeline for design and development tasks like writing the objectives, creating lectures, recording videos, designing assessment, and building the course. All these are the preliminaries which are needed to develop. Similarly, you have to establish learning outcome for the course before you begin selecting and creating material. Who is going to be benefited? In what way anybody is going to be benefited? Then you design a communication plan and community development strategies. Plan how and when the MOOC team will monitor the community and who is responsible for responding to the groups or individuals. Create assessment for the massive audience. Suppose you have enrolled 1000 people. How will you assess their performance, whether they are going on the right track or not, whether they are developing some kind of strategies, some kind of skills for that or not? That you have to see. You have to adopt the technology. You have to develop the length and timing of the course. You must decide the funding, promotion, and legal aspect also. Educational institutions must encourage to their faculty to develop the local MOOCs which are beneficial for the students, MOOCs which are beneficial for the students, MOOCs which are going to sharpen the skills of the students, MOOCs which are going to be attracted with your institution, and you can enroll the students from any parts of the world. So MOOCs learning design framework works on the 7 C's. You have to conceptualize, you have to capture the things, you have to communicate, then you have to collaborate, because in isolation you cannot work. You have to consider so many things, you have to combine many things, and then you have to, so much information and knowledge you have to consolidate so that to the proper audience you can deliver. So these 7 C's are very much essentials for developing a MOOC. There are a number of types of MOOCs, as I already told you, which are running at the world level. One are CMOOCs, which are connectivist MOOC, XMOOCs, MOOCs as an extension of something like traditional teaching, Quasi-MOOCs, online training, offers online courses representing online resource, and HMOOC. So let's discuss one by one. According to that, you can develop. CMOOC is associated with socially constructivist pedagogical. For example, you may have your YouTube channel, you may have your Facebook ID, you may have some other kinds of approaches to reach out the audience. And according to CMOOCs was maybe in the form of blogs, maybe in the form of wikis, maybe in the form of social media for searching. So main interaction takes place in formats, different formats. It may take from learner to learner. For example, students create their own Facebook page. It may work from learner to teacher, that teachers may create a Facebook page for their students. So through this, you want to connect with the audience. You want to connect with the students. Some organizations I have seen, they say that teachers should not have the pages and they should not involve their students on the social media. I think their approach is absolutely outdated, and that is a hindrance in the progress of education and progress of our country. So the main focus of CMOOCs, that is the Connectivist MOOC, that means you may connect to your audience, is the accumulation of knowledge, creativity, and communication of the participants. When you interact with the students through the social media, maybe through blogs, wikis, social media, or YouTube, or some kind of Facebook, here the students are given the opportunity to express. You give them some assignment, they express themselves, and this is a better way of communicating with the students. Similarly, you have this aim of CMOOC is to improve the quality of education through strengthening the horizontal links, that means student to student, and the simulation of joint cooperation in the group of learners. Here, we are not providing them opportunity in the classroom. They come in the classroom, sit for 40 minutes. Teachers change from one period to another period, but there is no interaction among the students in a better way. Because in 40 minutes, you cannot have much discussion. The time you start discussing, the period is over. But here, the classroom is open. Then XMOOCs, it is an extension of something else. You are teaching in the class physically, but you want to supplement your teaching pedagogy. It uses the behavioral principle of acquiring knowledge by repetition and testing of the knowledge. So when you deliver 40 minutes in the class, interact with the students physically, but after going to the home, you pose certain questions through any mode, maybe Google Classroom or maybe any other mode, that you repeat certain things, you give key points for discussion to the students and test their knowledge by putting questions. So XMOOCs contains questions, quizzes to test the mastery of theoretical material, forums for communicating with the instructor and other students of the course. So this brings together XMOOCs with the format of traditional academic courses. So usually students must comply with the deadlines for submitting completed assignments. So XMOOCs is basically extension of the already running system, that is a traditional. Then we have the Quasi-MOOCs. Quasi-MOOCs uses online training, offered online courses, representing an online resource, for example, such as Open Course. There are a number of examples, Byju's Academy, Khan Academy, or MIT Open Courseware. So they are offering you these kind of, why not our own educational institutions develop such kind of courses? Why not we indulge into that? It will empower the teachers also. It will give the economic benefit to our educational institution as well as the teachers, and it will empower the students' knowledge domain. That's why our educational institutions must jump into that. And the colleges like Dev Samaj College can do it. HMOOCs, which is a hybrid MOOC. This concept support hybrid or flipped classes, integrates and combine online as well as face-to-face teaching learning. Some people say that face-to-face teaching cannot be done through online. Why not? The technology is there. When I am interacting with you, because all of you has off their videos, but when I take my classes, you can go to on my YouTube channel and find that every student is visible on the screen with their names, but in class, I may not remember the names of all the students. If I am presentable, if my face reaction is seen by the students online and the students' face and reaction are seen by me, then why it is not face to face? We have to develop in this concept also, and we have to go ahead in a similar fashion. So there are a number of similar applications to MOOCs which are available at the world level. For example, SPOC is there, small private online courses. COC is there, corporate online courses. A MOOC, adaptive massively open online courses. At BMOOC is there, blended massive open online courses are there. SMOOCs, semi-massive open online courses. So these are the examples. You must have listen about the distance learning programs. Earlier we were saying distance learning. What was the mode? Students were sent certain hand notes in the form of some books. Then they fill up certain assignments. After that, they learn some personal context program were conducted. And then at the end of the day, they appear in the examinations and get degrees. Now their methodology can be developed for a MOOC also. Why can't we offer, if we are running offline BCom course in Dev Samaj College, why can't we run online also? If there is one offline program, one online should also be there. One unit should be there for online. It will give more employment to the teachers. Because when you will be developing MOOC or online teaching methodology to incorporate or give chance to one complete set of units to the students, definitely you will be developing infrastructure, and teachers will also be enjoying when they got employment. So how to prepare for the MOOCs? We have to define first the educational content. It is not there that I have the book in my hand regarding modern accounting theory. I start reading from it. If you are doing that, you are not in the education basically. You have to develop your educational content on your own basis, on your understanding, on your experiential learning. And this content will vary with purpose. It may be for internal purposes, it may be for external purposes. You have to define the key concepts. You have to develop a concept settings, concept design. Information needs to be passed on, and the choice of the topic and the choice of the presenter. These are the things which are needed to develop MOOCs. Now, driving learners management. There are a number of platforms which can empower you and which you can use even free of cost. So empower learning while getting more time to back to focus on your students, and flexible with flexibility, security, easy to use tools. There are free and built for education. There are a number of tools which are freely available. Video streaming, you can record your video, put it on the website or on the website of your institution. If institution's website is not strong enough to develop that, you can put it on the YouTube and put the link of that your recording on your institutional website. You may have Hangouts, Google Instant Hangout tools, meetings, meeting apps. Google Meet is there, Zoom platform is there. There are a number of platforms which are available. Prezi is there, which is a presentation software that uses motion, Zoom, and spatial relationship to bring the ideas of life and make you great presenter. ThinkLink is there, create unique experience with interactive images, videos, and 360-degree media. Wikipedia style articles you may develop. Trainers have an enormous amount of options. So there are a number of options which are available, but you have to search it out. You have to focus on which technology or methodology you have to use. There is one MOOCs production process, which we can divide into three segments: pre-production process, production process, and post-production process. So when you have to develop a MOOCs for your organization or for SWAYAM portal or for some corporate sector, all those points which we have discussed, first you have to go into pre-production process. You have to develop the concept, MOOC content. You have to find out the developer, relevant domain areas, users, who will be the users, who will be the audience. After that, you give the proposal to your institution. Then institution will provide you administrative support. They will provide you studio. If they are not providing, if you have a small studio like me, I have in my hand. So I don't have the assistance. Otherwise, must have shown you the technology room, which I have developed in my classroom. You can have demand certain equipments, and the final concept you will prepare and move the proposal to your educational institution, and they will work on it. They may provide you the joint help of others, because you have to collaborate with your counterparts in your department. Also, you can take the assistance of other things. So you have to gather the material, software, hardware needs. You have to fulfill. Then first recording review you must make. So these are the pre-production activities which the MOOCs are involved in. And I hope if you even start at the small level, you can develop to go through it and find out the processes and develop the MOOCs on your own. Then we have the production process. That after pre-production process, you have production process. Initially, you may develop your own MOOCs or online teaching methodology at your own, because we are not going to work at professional level. But when you start and trust will be developed, you will be having professional in touch into it in the form of video production, in the form of video recording, video editing, assembling videos, and you may approach to the various agencies for funding. Similarly, then you have to find out the marketer and the landing page poster through which you can promote your MOOCs programs. course production, course assembly, platform developing, platform deployment, assignment, test, quizzes, because all these need to be produced beforehand before it is uh, gone to the public. Then there are certain post-production activities. You have to run the course. Then you have to evaluate the performance of the students, data deployment and storing, survey results. Then you have to communicate with the people like the audience, international relations, research, politics, management. All these things will be there involved in the post-production. So as far as Ministry of HRD is concerned, they have developed the 4 quadrants. 4 quadrants mean first quadrant is tutorial, developing of tutorial which shall contain video and audio content in the organized form, animation, simulation, video demonstration, virtual labs along with the transcript of the video. Similarly, second content quadrant is concerned with the self-instruction material, e-books you have to create, case studies you have to develop, presentation also contain web resources, related links, open source content on internet, some videos, case studies, books, all these need to be developed. Similarly, you have the third quadrant is the discussion forum for providing to the audience. So sometime after listening you, they may discuss and clarify their doubts near real-time basis by the course coordinator. And the quadrant 4, which is related with the problems and solution, which could be in the form of multiple choice questions, fill in the blanks, matching questions, short answer questions, long answer questions, quizzes, assignment, solution, discussion forum topics, setting up the frequently asked question. You can take the help of the Google Classroom for that. So these are the various things which are available for developing your MOOCs and running your MOOCs at your institution level also, or for some agency also. So there are a number of tools which are available for video content. If you are doing at small level, there are certain free video software. ADS is there, Camtasia is there, ScreenFlow Mac. This is for Mac. So you can use these tools for video processing. For example, you have developed some video on your mobile phone. After that, you want to process it, you want to give title, you want to give some kind of music to that, or you want to give certain kind of thumbnails to that, you can do with the help of these kind of software. These are freely available on the internet. Number of courseware are there. For example, edX is there, Coursera is there, Khan Academy is there. There are a number of things which are available. Similarly, in India, we have a SWAM portal, which is run by the government of India. So what needs to be done? Teachers need to prepare differently. Virtual classes, for running the virtual classes, we need a change in the attitude, and the change in the attitude and audience also matters. Teachers must arrange designated space to deliver. If you are finding it that it is your compulsion for online teaching and you have to just do a formality, it is not going to work. So we need a supportive learning environment from the organization also. They must encourage their teachers to do so. Otherwise, this will not give the results. So new development, you have to develop the new content, because the people would not like to listen from you all the things which they have already knowing. So you have to design the matter, you have to go through slowly, use inspiring quotes, setting images so that people are attracted towards your course or your class. So there is a concept of neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is basically concerned with the ability of the brain to change continuously, rewire and reorganize, and challenge yourself and challenge your student. This concept needs to be brought in your classes. You have to, must have the ability to bring ability of your brain to change continuously. You have to rewire your brain and reorganize the things in it. You have to challenge yourself and challenge your students. Otherwise, the basic objective of education will not be fulfilled. You have to develop a space for speaking to the learners. It may be a digital space, it may be ergonomics and applied science concerned with the designing and arranging things people use so that people and things interact most efficiently. You have to bring etiquette to face the camera. You must have developed etiquette to conduct virtual classes. I have seen so many teachers taking an online class, but I have not seen their face during the whole class. They are just speaking by off of their videos. Their videos are not on. Only students are listening to their voice. this is not going to attract to the students. This is not going to make more comfortable to the students. You have to develop a digital space when you have to develop any kind of online teaching methodology or MOOCs. So how teachers and students can make a quick transition to MOOC learning? You have to turn your lessons into videos. When this COVID-19 situation started in March, even in April, May, at the Department of Higher Education level, we were saying to the department that ask the teachers to develop their lesson into videos. And school education department has done in a more efficient way. But in higher education, we were not able to do it. You have to host online classes, mini lessons, flipped classroom, test preparation, home to college connection, explaining an assignment. All these need to be done to quickly move to the transition to MOOC. So virtual teaching, it is well thought systematic approach to transfer your course content in virtual setting. It is basically a storyboard. Engage the students by creating innovative assignments, project, discussion, questions. Student-led discussion and experiential learning should be part of it. Only then you will be successful in. There are various learning management systems which are available like Canvas, Moodle, Blackboard. Still, we have not adopted any. Most of the people are using Google Classroom along with Zoom, Cisco WebEx Meet, Google Meet, G-Forms, etc., etc. So now, few things I will be winding up, that how to engage students for discussion for online discussion forum. First, when you start things, participate in the students' lounge. The most difficult situation for the teacher is that they're speaking on their own. They don't participate in the students' lounge. They don't respond to the all student introduction. They even don't tell who you are. They don't post their own introduction and talk about their personal and professional background. A teacher who is a guru, the student want to know about them. You must give your introduction when you start teaching and discuss the professional approaches you have gone through. Your students will model how to relate to them and follow up all questions either privately or publicly. There may be some students who are very good, but if they are not sharing your experiences with you, you will not be enriched. Even the counterpart students will not be enriched. And while devising or designing your online course or teaching to the student, attach photos, images, videos, tweets, links, etc. Don't shy off that. Student should not be on your Facebook page. They should not be on your Twitter account. You must share with them. If you really want to make your online course stand out from competition, use media to illustrate a point. Create more conversation. Inject humor just for fun. When using personalized videos, ensure you look into the camera to appear that you are making eye contact with them. Eye contact is possible through the online teaching also. Then read all the posts. Students, if they are on the Facebook page or they are on some kind of social media and they are interacting with you, students who read all their fellow students posting consistently get deeper engaged. So you should also do the same. You must read the content which is posted by the students. You will be able to know their psychology. You don't have to respond to all posts that may stifle a real discussion, but instead give students a space to respond to each other. It is not necessary that you must respond to all the posts which are made by the students. So respond to student with a question, and affirmation or feedback. To replicate on-campus learning experience online, respond frequently to the students individually, whether it's private or public. Some may put some questions on your WhatsApp group, some may put on Facebook, some may put to you individually. This shows that you value them and allow them to identify at-risk students. Highlighting the good points of your students have made. Your interaction should be very, very familiar with all these kind of things. So next is ask question and challenge your students to think. When you don't ask question, you don't challenge the psyche of the student, they will not be learning. If a discussion is lagging, try reframing the questions, flipping the question, restating it, that can help to understand the student's discussion better. Similarly, you have to always watch your online tone. This is not that always you are perfect. Qualify your tone if necessary. Avoid the overuse of exclamation points. Never type in all caps, and don't use symbols which hamper the conversation. Add value to the conversation when implemented sparingly. You incorporate humor, images, frame your responses and statement for students to better understand you. Affirm your students wherever possible. Affirm but not flatter your students collectively and individually with recognition of what they brought to the discussion. The affirmation may even be a part of framing. You use the ask them a question and encourage them to be go deeper. So don't be afraid to ask students how a particular discussion is working. Periodically ask your students what's good or bad about a particular discussion is there. How is it working or not working them? What could be improved? It is not there that you are master of everything. You may learn from the students also. When you ask, be sure of acknowledge and act on their comments if needed. Utilizing the above tips as you implement online discussion will go a long way in student relationship management, increasing their presence, increasing your presence, and encouraging creative thinking in the online classrooms. So whatever doubts has been expressed by the madam principal, that we have still certain challenges, certain problems, and such problems will be overcome when you switch over to the online instruction. You don't become panic, you be empathetic, keep it simple, stick to the curriculum, but look for the shortcuts. Don't skip discussion, questions, answers. When you will train your students in 1 day, 2 day, third day, they may create problem for you, like unmuting their voice, creating troubles. But when they understand that they are getting something from my teachers, even on online, they will become disciplined. They will manage your show in a very, very beautiful manner. So these are the things which I think with the help of our teachers, and I would like to say that the center stage for running all this is a teacher only. And the teachers will remain at the center stage even for centuries. Nobody can replace the teachers. If online teaching is there, that is to be run by the teachers. If MOOCs has to be developed, that is to be developed by the teachers. But what we need, we have to re-establish teachers as the most respected and essential member of the society. You have to attract to your institution best and brightest to enter into teaching profession. You can take care their livelihood, respect, dignity, and autonomy. If you will give them more encouragement in these fields, the teachers will feel that they should participate in a more lively way, more encouraging way, and more qualitative way to make your institution a viable institution. So it is my advice to all of you, create a MOOC center in your organization. Initially, you may not have got any kind of financial assistance. Try to develop small courses which can be delivered online. Make a team. After making the team, follow all the paths which we have discussed, and after that, sell it, market it with the professional approach. Your institution will be benefited. You will be connected with the society in a bigger way. You will be connected with the various spheres of the life. You may have students from all parts of the world, which will give a more name to your institution. Similarly, if you develop online teaching methodology in a blended form along with the offline program also, that will give a boost to the education system, that will give boost to the strategies which you have adopted, that will give boost to your name of organization, and you will be known as the brightest institution in the field of education. So I hope I will be able to, I must have been able to deliver something to you, whatever knowledge I have, because from the last 1 year we are working on it. We are developing online teaching methodology, engaging the audience even from the society to enrich them through the wisdom and knowledge, with the sharing of knowledge with all the group of people to whom we are attached. and coming out to some conclusion. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Principal and Lina, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir, for such an informative lecture. It is your lecture is really sort of informative for we people as a participant. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Lina Kakkad, HOD Department of Commerce, for giving a formal vote of thanks. Lina, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Anju. It is good afternoon, everybody. It is indeed a proud privilege for me to extend a vote of thanks to all of you present here today. I, on behalf of PG Department of Commerce, convey deep regards and thanks to Dr. Ashwini Balla, Professor, SCD Government College, Ludhiana, for delivering his lecture. Sir, you have rightly said in your lecture that we need to bring learning to people instead of people to learning. And it is the present scenario in which we all are trying to working. Sir, we are highly indebted to you for sparing your valuable time for our webinar. Your presence in the webinar today will greatly inspire us, and I am sure with your blessings, the Department of Commerce will gain further strength. From my deep core of heart, I am thankful to our respected chairman, Shriman Nirmal Singh Ji Dhillon, worthy principal Dr. Mrs. Ramnita Sharda, organizers and college fraternity for their wholehearted support and guidance. I am very happy to inform you that the response to this webinar is overwhelming, and I hope that deliberation at this academic program shall be highly fruitful and help towards enhancing the knowledge of participants. I am extremely thankful to my colleagues and students who have contributed immensely to make this endeavor a success. Thank you. And thank you, participants. We will have already shared the feedback link in chat box. Kindly fill that properly, and we will send you certificates within 10 to 15 days at your registered email IDs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lina ji. Thank you so much. It was a great endeavor on your part, and particularly from the side of the Dev Samaj College for Women. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Should I close the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay.